All right, so for my dust and scratches demo, I picked a photo that has a lot of little bits everywhere. They're teeny tiny and they pretty much cover a lot of the image, and it's to the point where I would spend a really long time cloning them out. And even in Photoshop, it's just not gonna be ideal. I wanna show you how you can apply a filter in bulk and just paint your way back to a really sharp looking image. So for demonstration purposes, I took this screenshot from Lightroom. You can see all of my little teeny tiny circles. I did actually spend time in Lightroom editing out all of the little specks and dust bits in this photo, and it took forever, and I don't know if it was worth it. It was worth it. The photo looks great, but let me show you a faster way in Photoshop. So to start out, we are going to double click our background layer to make it its own layer, and then we are going to duplicate that layer. We're going to be editing on a layer above the photo. That way we can use a mask. So let's go into the filter menu and go down to noise, over to dust and scratches. This is going to pull up a little preview window where you can see just what's happening to our sliders. So just for example's sake, I'm going to show you what it looks like when we pull the sliders up quite a lot. Really strange things are happening. I recommend you go through and just kind of play with these sliders and just kind of get an idea of what's happening here and why it looks so strange, because I'm going to show you how to make it look good. The first thing we want to do is adjust the radius. Make sure your preview is selected because you're going to want to watch as it goes. It also helps to adjust this window to focus on a spot that has large dust. I'm going to adjust the radius very slowly, go up a few pixels, take a look. It's going to make the photo look sort of hazy and blurry, but what we want to focus in on is how it's affecting the little specks and dust. So I pulled it up to 8 and I can still see these little dust marks. 9, they're almost gone. I'm going to go up to 10 and see if they disappear. Basically disappear at 11. We want to go as low as possible on the radius, but we do want all of those little dust spots to disappear. I feel pretty happy with 11. I'm going to start adjusting the threshold. So we're going to go up slowly and it's going to bring the photo back basically. So it's going to give us more detail and make the photo look more like how it was. So now you can see, we can see that water, the water has come back in the image, but those dust spots are gone. So if I hit preview, you can see in the image that a lot of the dust is still in the frame. And then when I hit the preview button, it disappears. And so that means that this is working. So we're going to go up on the threshold just a teeny bit more and get that perfect little sweet spot. What I'm looking for, let me show you. If the threshold is all the way up to like 50, for example, it starts to bring some of that detail back in a way that is ineffective. So I want to just get that perfect little, we still want it to be quite blurred on this tabletop. I feel like 25 is good. I'm really happy with this. Don't look at the coffee part. Look at just the table because we're going to fix that. I'm going to hit OK. This is where we're at so far. So right now I want to work on a mask. So I'm going to come down here to this little rectangle with a circle, and it's going to add a layer mask. I want to start with it all dark. So I'm going to hit G for my bucket, my paint bucket tool, and make sure black is my active color. I'm going to click on it. This basically turns my whole mask off. Now I'm gonna individually turn it back on using the brush tool. So B for brush tool and then actually X to switch the colors. I'm gonna adjust my brush size using the bracket, and I'm just gonna start painting in. I'm gonna paint over all of those little dust and scratch marks, and they are just gonna disappear right before your eyes. It's very, very satisfying. The fine tuning does take a minute, but let me zoom into this coffee scale where you can see all the little flecks of coffee beans. I'm going to adjust my brush in a little bit and just paint those all away. See you later, dust and scratches. This tool is very fun to use as well. Keep in mind, if you draw over something that you don't want to be blurred out, it's going to look like that. Command Z. We're just gonna get close, but not too close. Just going through, cleaning up all these little distracting speckles. And then I know I have one up here on the neck. A little light here. We've got some little ripples in the paper. I'm just gonna smooth those right away. Smooth out this little bubble here. Okay, and then there we go. We've cleaned out most of the dust and scratches. I obviously still have this big stain right here that I want to get out of the frame. I'm just gonna clean up this side a little better. Awesome, and then once I'm happy with that, I like to just go ahead and merge my layers. If you want to edit a little safer, obviously edit on a new layer, that's the best way to do it, but I just like to edit on the main layer, and that's okay too. So I am just taking my spot heal brush and I am just healing out any of the last little distracting pieces. I like the little patch of water here, so I'm gonna leave it, but anyway, that is how you would make those adjustments on a major kind of bulk scale using the dust and scratches painting in. This is really effective if you have an image that has just kind of all over dust and scratches. Maybe you're shooting on a dark table and the light's coming in at a low angle and it's catching every little bit of dust, and or cat hairs, anything like that. So this can be a super effective tool to use. Let me show you the before and the after. Really excited about that. In the next section, we are going to tackle head swapping.